Imagine the unimaginable, the moment when the first nuclear bomb detonates. A flash brighter than 1,000 suns, a shockwave that flattens everything in its path, and a mushroom cloud that paints the sky with the ominous colors of desolation. This is the immediate impact of a nuclear explosion, a cataclysmic event that forever alters the course of history and life on Earth. The detonation of a nuclear bomb is a spectacle of raw, unbound energy. In a split second, a small sphere of nuclear fuel is compressed, triggering a chain reaction that releases an immense amount of energy. This energy manifests as an intense burst of light, heat, and a shockwave that expands outward from the epicenter, obliterating everything in its path. Buildings crumble like sandcastles in the face of a tsunami. Concrete and steel structures melt and warp under the intense heat, and cities once teeming with life are reduced to barren wastelands. But the devastation does not end there. The nuclear fireball rises, sucking up debris and dust into the mushroom cloud. This debris becomes irradiated, creating a deadly rain of fallout that blankets the surrounding area. Radiation levels soar to lethal levels, posing an immediate threat to anyone unlucky enough to survive the initial blast. This radiation sickness is swift and merciless, causing severe illness and often death. As if the destruction and radiation weren't enough, firestorms engulf the devastated urban landscapes. These are not ordinary fires, but a raging inferno fueled by the intense heat of the explosion and the plentiful supply of debris. The firestorms incinerate anything left standing, and the smoke, filled with toxic byproducts, is released into the atmosphere, further polluting the air we breathe. In the blink of an eye, the world as we know it has changed forever, but the immediate impact is just the beginning. The scars left by a nuclear explosion are deep and long-lasting, forever changing the face of the Earth and the lives of those who inhabit it. But this is just the opening act of a much larger, much darker play, the aftermath of nuclear warfare. As the dust begins to settle, the silent killer known as nuclear fallout begins its deadly reign. This fallout, the residual radioactive material propelled into the upper atmosphere following a nuclear blast, rains down, contaminating everything it touches. The soil, once fertile and life-giving, becomes a barren wasteland, its composition altered, its capacity to sustain life severely diminished. Crops wither, livestock perish, and the very foundation of our food chain crumbles. But the fallout's reach extends beyond the soil. It seeps into our water systems, turning rivers, lakes, and oceans into toxic reservoirs. The consequence is a ripple effect that touches every living organism. Aquatic life forms mutate or die off, threatening the balance of marine ecosystems, while contaminated water used in agriculture poisons our food supply and exacerbates the problem on land. Our air doesn't escape unscathed either. The atmosphere becomes a cocktail of toxic gases and radioactive particles. This contaminated air, when breathed in, poses severe health risks from lung cancer to acute radiation syndrome. And while we grapple with these immediate effects, another sinister consequence lurks in the horizon. The fallout threatens the very shield that protects life on Earth, the ozone layer. The intense heat and radiation from nuclear explosions can deplete this layer, causing more of the sun's harmful ultraviolet radiation to reach the Earth's surface. This increase in UV radiation can lead to skin cancer and cataracts in humans and damage terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems, affecting everything from the smallest plankton to the most giant whales. And let's not forget the potential climate effects. Depending on the scale and location of nuclear detonations, we could face either a nuclear winter or a nuclear summer. In a nuclear winter, smoke and soot block out sunlight, causing a sharp drop in global temperatures, while a nuclear summer could see a drastic rise in temperatures due to ozone depletion. The Earth, it seems, has been altered in ways that may never be reversed. The nuclear aftermath is not confined to human societies. It ripples through every level of the natural world. The ecological devastation that follows a nuclear conflict goes far beyond the immediate impact, reaching into the very heart of the planet's biodiversity. Imagine countless species, from the tiniest insects to the largest mammals, suddenly left without a home as their habitats are wiped out by blasts, radiation, and subsequent nuclear fallout. The loss is significant, not just in sheer numbers, but in the irreplaceable diversity and richness that each species brings to our planet. This biodiversity, once lost, is not easily recovered, and many species may face the grim prospect of extinction. But the impact doesn't stop there. Picture the surviving organisms now forced to live in a world tainted by radiation. The exposure could cause mutations and genetic abnormalities, a silent, invisible enemy infiltrating their very DNA. These changes can disrupt ecosystems in unforeseen ways, creating a chaotic new normal where the rules of survival have drastically changed. Now let's think about the food chains. These intricate webs of life, built upon millions of years of evolution, are suddenly thrown into disarray. Predators lose their prey, herbivores lose their food sources, and the entire ecosystem teeters on the brink of collapse. This collapse does not happen in isolation. It has a domino effect, triggering secondary disasters that further compound the devastation. With food chains disrupted, famine becomes a very real threat, not just for humans but for all life forms. Disease outbreaks, too, can become rampant as populations of disease-carrying organisms explode without their natural predators to keep them in check. In this post-apocalyptic world, the once vibrant symphony of nature's sounds is replaced with an eerie silence as ecosystems across the globe struggle to survive, to adapt, and to rebuild amidst the ruins. Yet nature is resilient. Life, in its many forms, has an uncanny ability to endure, to evolve, and to rise from the ashes. An eerie silence falls over the world as ecosystems struggle to survive. In the wake of nuclear devastation, the fabric of human society unravels. The foundations that once held societies together crumble under the weight of the apocalypse. Governments, once mighty pillars of order and security, collapse into dust. The existing social structures that prevailed prior to the catastrophe dissolve into nothingness, giving way to widespread chaos and lawlessness. The rules that once governed human interactions are now replaced by the primal instinct of survival. Civility and order are luxuries that survivors can no longer afford in this post-apocalyptic world. The familiar hum of cities and communities is replaced by a deafening silence, broken only by the eerie echoes of despair and desperation. In this new world order, the earth becomes a vast expanse of desolation. The survivors, now refugees in their own planet, embark on mass migrations. They traverse through radioactive wastelands, fleeing from the contaminated ruins of what once were their homes, in a desperate search for safety and resources. The scarcity of basic necessities becomes the new norm. Food, water, and medical supplies, once taken for granted, now become rare commodities. The struggle to secure these resources sparks fierce competition and conflict, further fracturing the fragile remnants of human society. In the midst of this physical turmoil, the mental health of survivors takes a severe blow. Post-traumatic stress disorder and depression become rampant. The psychological scars left by the nuclear catastrophe are as profound as the physical ones, further straining the resilience of the society. The nuclear apocalypse not only reconfigures the physical landscape of the Earth, but also the societal landscape. The societal norms, values, and structures that took millennia to evolve are rendered obsolete almost overnight. The survivors are left to navigate a harsh new reality where the rules of the old world no longer apply. Out of the ashes of the old world, a new, harsher reality emerges. The societal collapse following a nuclear apocalypse is not just a story of destruction, but also a testament to the profound resilience of humanity as it adapts to survive in a world forever changed by its own destructive capabilities. As the world reels from the devastation, the stage is set for a new global order. The balance of power is dramatically skewed as nations grapple with the aftermath of nuclear conflict. Traditional powerhouses may crumble, making way for unexpected leaders to rise from the ashes. International alliances, once firm, fracture under the strain, with new alignments forming out of necessity and desperation. The risk of further conflict looms large, a dark cloud threatening to trigger another cycle of violence and instability. As countries vie for control over dwindling resources and contested territories, the world teeters on the brink of chaos. And amidst this turmoil, efforts at post-war reconstruction face immense challenges. Lingering distrust and animosity complicate the path towards reconciliation, further deepening the wounds inflicted by nuclear warfare. In the aftermath of nuclear warfare, the world map is redrawn and the struggle for survival continues. The post-nuclear world is a grim wasteland, a testament to the destructive power of human ingenuity. We've journeyed through the devastating effects of nuclear warfare, from the immediate impact that annihilates cities and ignites firestorms, to the environmental fallout that contaminates our planet for generations. We've seen the ecological devastation that disrupts ecosystems and witnessed the societal collapse that follows, breaking down structures we once took for granted. We've considered the geopolitical ramifications, where power dynamics shift and the cycle of violence perpetuates. This chilling vision of a post-apocalyptic Earth underscores the catastrophic consequences of nuclear warfare. It's a stark reminder of the urgent need for nuclear disarmament and peace. The stakes are high and the cost of inaction is too great. In this bleak vision of the future, we find a stark warning and a call to action. It is up to us to ensure that this scenario remains forever hypothetical.